are discussing birth control and family planning on tea or coffee this morning, just before the break, where Mobolade and I were looking, at the decisions of whether to have a child and even the timings on when to have a child. Now, I am joined in the studio by the very insightful. I've been speaking to her before the cameras came on, and I've even been learning a lot, and now you're going to have an opportunity to do so. I'm joined in the studio with Oluwapelumi Aleshinloye King. She is a sexual and reproductive health consultant, here to buttress more on the conversation of birth control and family planning. Good morning, Pelumi. How are you doing?
Good morning.
Very glad that you're actually able to join us for this conversation.
Thank you very much.
Family planning, birth control, when to have children, and all these kind of decisions, they are very sensitive conversations, and they require an expert like you to actually shed more light on it. So let us start from the basics. What is family planning?
It is not strange to have people confuse family planning with contraception.
Right.
Well, it's understandable because choice of language. Well, basically, family planning is a way, it's a method or a service where an individual or a couple is able to decide whether they want to have kids,
right,
when they want to have kids, and how they want to have them. So it involves spacing, timing, how you want to have, whether through natural methods or through surrogacy or through adoption. That's like the full definition of family planning. So contraception is like a method.
Right.
It now comes under family planning.
Okay.
Yes.
So what are some of the reasons that, a couple that they want to have a family, what are some of the reasons why they have to, have consultation for family planning?
Well, it is very, very important to plan your family in quotes, because first of all, you need to be prepared. It's not marriage is not like, it's not, having children is not by default. Okay, you get married, you start having children immediately. It is important to plan. Okay, are we financially ready? Are we mentally ready? Are we in that place where we can, go through this? And are we sure we have all the support we need to go through it right now? So it is really, really important. And then family planning also helps the couples to decide which way is best for them. So there are some couples that, for some reason, may not be able to conceive naturally.
Right.
And it is this family planning, process that would help them determine, what if they can conceive naturally, and what they should do, whether they should wait. Because sometimes you have couples going, when they want to start a family, then they realize that, maybe there's something wrong with one of the partners, and then they have to start treating, or maybe one partner has a terminal illness or that they are undergoing treatment for. At that point, most times they'll tell them not to try to conceive yet. That's where the entire family planning conversation comes in. Like, okay, there are some drugs that are retained in the body for, like, let's say 1 month after using it, and if you try to conceive at that point, the conception process may go wrong.
Right.
So they'll tell them you should just wait. Maybe take on a contraceptive method, wait for a certain period of time before you now start your family.
Right.
And some, they'll just tell them, see, it's not even advisable to start a family at all. So that's where this family planning conversation comes in. It's like a whole lot, not just contraception alone.
Okay, so now let's compare it. I really like that you are really debunking this myth that family planning is contraception. So let us talk about birth control. What is there a difference between family planning and birth control, quote unquote, per se?
The word birth control, I would say it's maybe like a less formal word for family planning.
Okay.
So family planning is, it's just like when we go to some communities. You can't use the word contraceptives, is too big for them to be like, what are they saying? Contraceptive, kilonjebe.
Yeah.
But when you say family planning or birth control, like there's when you say birth control, they be we know what they are saying.
Yeah,
So it's much more. You can still say birth control is sort of like you can replace family planning with birth control in the when you are on the field, but in the actual sense of things, there's still a little difference between family planning and birth control. Birth control is tending more towards contraception, how to control birth, but with family planning, you may not even want to have kids. So there's really no, I don't know if you get it.
Yeah.
They're sort of like under the same umbrella, but different. You need to know where to use which word and where not to use a particular terminology.
Yeah, because you don't probably want to scare them away.
Exactly. You probably don't want to scare them away.
In your experience, what is the attitude towards family planning in Nigeria? Are people open to it? Do people actually submit themselves for consultations, or they just freelance it?
Well, there's a lot of, so there's this particular way people misquote this part of the Bible where the Bible said, go into the world and multiply. They're like, the Bible has said, go into the world and multiply. Let's go and multiply now. So there's really, and many people feel like, it should be a natural thing.
Right.
If we want to get pregnant this night, we just need to, have sex and that is it. But this family planning conversation is a very, very important one that I feel that even couples should have it before they even start to consider having children. Okay, so we know that many couples, when they get married, they start trying for kids.
Yeah.
So I feel like, okay, even before you get married, you should start having that conversation. Like, are we going to be able to have, it involves those tests you do too. Fertility tests that you do beforehand to know whether this person's reproductive organs are in top shape, But here we feel like it's just waste of money, just let's do it. And so it's not when it doesn't work the way they plan. That's when they know that maybe something is wrong. It's our village people that is involved. It even takes a while for them to come back to where they should have been in the first place. Where now, we should actually see a fertility specialist now. But that is not after they have gone through all the stress and worries of, no, this should be happening now. This should be, basically. So it's like, it's a foreign word.
Yeah. So is there can family planning be, can it be too late to start family planning, or can it be too early? Is there, I'm really burgeoning on the lateness aspect of family. Can it be too late for a couple? Maybe they've been married for 2 years and now they didn't have any family planning before there, but now they decided that, taking all these things into consideration, that we can't give birth to. So can it be too late for a couple to begin their family planning?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
It's not too late. It can't be too early, and it can't be too late. So, for example, as I said the other time, when I was defining family planning, when an individual or a couple, so it's not only married couples that can decide on family planning.
Individuals as well.
Individuals, young single people, single or married people can also decide that I know I want to be sexually active, but I don't want to. I'm not ready for a child now. Things like deciding to go on contraception, or even abstinence is a method of contraception. I hope you know that.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm deciding to be abstinent. I don't want to have kids yet. Or I'm deciding to use condoms or a form of contraception.
Yeah.
So it's not, at that point, it is not too early. Like, so long as they are in their reproductive age where they can make these decisions. And then it is not too late to start family planning.
Yeah.
Some couples, as you said the other time, maybe after 2 years, they're like, maybe we should not even have kids at all. And they both decide on it. It's not too late at all. And then it's not even too even if it's maybe after 10 or 15 years of marriage, they're like, we should actually have kids. So, as I said, there are many ways, under family plan, there are many ways to have kids. There's surrogacy, there's the natural way, there's surrogacy, there's adoption. So whichever one. I've seen couples that after 20 years of marriage, they adopted, like they voluntarily decided to adopt children. So it's not too early, it's not too late.
So now, taking all this into consideration, that the timing doesn't really matter, what are some of the risk factors involved with family planning, with some of the procedures, you know, whether be it surrogacy, be it, you know, adoption? What are some of the risk factors that come with family planning?
Well, it differs from person to person.
Okay.
So, for example, if we're talking about, let's start with, let's say, contraception. You know, there's this myth that, when you use contraception, when you are ready to have kids, you would be infertile. They start saying, is that contraception I used though? So I remember one time when I was working, I went for a particular outreach, and the woman was like, she got off the implant, and she has been trying, and she has not conceived. And I like to tell people that, see, it's not the contraception that is not letting you conceive. There's so many reasons, there's so many things that come to play to decide whether a couple would have kids or not. For all we know, you may not even be having sex when you're ovulating. You're not having sex when you're supposed to. So there's no way it is going to happen. There's no way that miracle is going to happen if you're not having sex the way, you know, and in the frequency you're supposed to. So there's really, I wouldn't really say there's, well, the major risk factors, if for people who do have it, sometimes when let's say, for example, there's a person living with a mental condition, and there are some drugs they are using. You cannot use some drugs with some contraceptives. Okay. They would work against each other. So you'd have to go to the hospital or consult a medical practitioner to decide which is the best for you. You know, and there are maybe some people who use, even if it's not even mental health conditions, there are some sicknesses that you cannot use some kinds of contraception. That's why it's important to consult a medical. There's some tests they'll run for you before they say, okay, this one. And then if this one doesn't even fit, it's just like me going to buy a shoe. I see these really nice pencil heels, I'm like, so beautiful. I saw my friend wear it, and it was absolutely beautiful. And I wear it. And then I sprained my ankle because it's actually not my feet. So I would have to go back to the shoe place to say, please, get me something that would actually fit me, you know, that fits my lifestyle, that fits my schedule, and, you know, that fits my, you know, my stature. So, you know, that's basically how contraceptives work too. And then, well, aside that, the other method, you have to have money. You know, there's surrogacy, you need money. Then adoption, it's, for example, in Nigeria, it takes at least 2 years, like, to go through from the beginning to, like, when you actually get the child legally to be yours. So the stress and the back and forth is really not a seamless process yet. That's why many people are not even adopting legally in Nigeria yet, because the process is really, really hard and tedious for them. And there's, as I said the other time, there's really the risks differ from person to person.